inDmix podcast returns, ladies and gentlemen, back with another special edition. Y'all about to hear stories right now. I'm like, who's this cat right here? You know. Goes without saying, Mr. On the Level, Mr. Lump in the building. What's goody, my guy? I appreciate you. Listen, when I started this, I had in mind the people I wanted to talk to. I already know. Again, it's the people that helped me on my genesis, on my journey, trying to establish inDmix. You were so critical and influential, cornerstone to the build-up to where I am today. So going back, trying to go down the storyline to how nightlife is where it is today, I think it's absolutely necessary to talk about your imprint, your impact on nightlife. You know what I mean? There's so many things going on, but I still see today, you know, those imprints. Yeah. So without further ado, I just want you to let the people know. Today we're talking about you, what you're about, what you did, what you're doing currently. Let the people know, man. We got to hear this. We got to hear this with the podcast, man. Let the people know who you are, what you do, baby.
I'm not running the streets in L.A. no more, so I can give my government. I'm not running with those guys in South
those
Central.
Circles no more.
Nah.
You're from L.A., right?
Yeah, I'm from L.A. Los
man.
Angeles, born and bred until I got in trouble and they made me come here. But my name is Orian Lumpkin.
Lump.
And everybody knows me as Lump, man. I am, and I'm actually proud to say this, bro, because I look good at 52.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
I hope I'm
out.
there when I get there.
Yeah.
I didn't even know you were that, but props.
Yeah.
That's props.
But I have one bone to pick.
Okay, let's hear it.
I'm jealous and I'm in my feelings because how long you been doing this podcast?
I've been doing this podcast for about 2 years, 2.5, matter of fact. Yeah.
I feel like a backup dancer to Tito Jackson. I feel like the fork catcher.
Listen.
It's like
Elliot, I told you, Elliot. Conceptually, just hear me out. I'm freestyling. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm getting my reps in, and there's so many people to talk to. So again, my brother, I know you feel that way, but don't worry about it. You're here.
I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm okay now. I'm a little crushed. You know, I'm not one for feelings, but I'm a cancer, bro.
I know you. I knew you were going to say that. That's why I was like, I looked at the schedule. I'm like, I got to get Lump in here. But
I seen people. I was like, how they getting there before me? It's like you know what I felt like?
What?
I feel like something that I never do. I'm never standing in line at the club. I feel like I was standing in line at the club, bro.
You should just be walked up.
I should just
I know.
Bro, I don't care how many people I had. Jamaica, New Year's, Christmas. If I had 10 people with me.
You were good.
I didn't even get searched.
Right. Oh, well,
and I have my gun on me even before the concealed weapon permit came out.
But you had that.
Yeah,
listen, this is to you and this is to all my peers. Listen, there is no real schedule. There are people I've hit up, I've been trying to get on, that just the schedule hasn't worked. So I'm just freestyling. It's based on availability, and we just make it happen.
So look, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to look into the camera. Look, I was actually at my regular job today. And he was like, today. I was like, you know what?
Last minute, come on, let's do it.
Yep, I even have my little old nice shoes in the car. I got on flip-flops right now, so it's for the chest up, so we good to go. I came anyway because I didn't want to be on the
backup dancer status. I appreciate you making it, and this is how comfortable I want the podcast to be. When I hit you up, please, if you can, just make it. Don't plan, don't think too much. If you can, we'll make it happen. But yeah, let the people know, because anyway, let me do a little intro. I don't know if y'all know this, but I knew you from music industry, all right? So there's partying, but there's the part where you see the artists and the celebrities. Back in the day, there weren't promoters or owners booking people to come at the clubs. So the only way you saw your artists
was on the record run.
When they were on the record run.
Yeah.
Okay, so I need y'all to understand why Lump is so crucial, at least I know he did more than this, but you didn't see Rick Ross, you didn't see Jeezy unless they were coming to the city to record. Yeah. There were only a handful of studios that artists wanted to record at. So they will fly into those cities, block out like weeks at a time to go record. Right, and then they'll have the artists they want to work with, meet them in the city and all that. So after that's done, Lump is the guy that I always see waltzing the artist through the building. I'm like, who is this cat? Consistently. You don't see that anymore. Now you just record and you ship your stuff. You email your verse to the artist. Y'all ain't even got to be in the studio at the same time no more. Back then, y'all had to be there in the spot.
The biggest difference is this: like you have to do a market run. I was what they call
market run. Got you. Okay.
As a market run. So as a street promoter, the grassroots side of it, you had to have a representative in the market. So all the major labels, whether it was Def Jam, Elektra, Capitol, Cash Money, the independents, as well as the major labels, they had a market rep. And the market rep was the guy who was plugged in the city.
Gotcha.
So I had to have relationships at retail. All the businesses in the world doesn't matter. If you're not selling records, it's just what it was.
Right.
You know, so from radio, then you go to radio. You know, we had one station and then we had two stations. We always had KTSU. We always had K-True. So you had to have relationships with everybody in the station.
All the stops, right?
Every station, because radio was pivotal. People don't understand that Houston is the fourth largest city in the country. So this demographic is incredibly sensitive and it's pivotal for acts, even right now today.
Right, even till today, right.
Today, because what happens is, if you remember the movie Straight Outta Compton, you notice they had the scene with the summit.
Right.
When NWA came here. My mentor, Daryl Jacobs, a.k.a. Big D, may he rest in peace, he was at that concert. But here's the deal. They came to Houston because at that time, Houston was the number one consumer of hip-hop.
Wow.
Houston is real big. So when you have cats like Steve Fournier, like Ice Cube had one record where he said, you know Steve Fournier because you know he don't play.
Right. And he's actually giving them props.
Because he had the first record pool in the country, and he was in the first release of the Source magazine. He was on the front page, Steve Fournier, the record pool. So you can't say Steve Fournier without saying Captain Jack. Because Captain Jack ran the clubs. You can't say Captain Jack without saying Ray Barnett. Because Ray Barnett, and then you can't say any of that without the cat, may he rest in peace. I hate saying it, but Wicked Cricket.
Cricket.
Yeah,
Come
so
on.
you know, it's like for me,
stamp.
It was
icon.
a blessing.
Right.
I mean, it really was. And so radio, retail, streets, I had to be everywhere at the same time.
Right.
And
so
clubs.
I hate to interject. So what's it like? Like an artist is coming, I got to do this. What do you have to do? Just quick rundown.
Quick rundown is make sure he's got a presence at retail.
Gotcha.
So that's
so this is when you go to Soundwaves.
You go to Soundwaves
and all. They don't know what that is.
Because if you're under 30 years old, you never really had to buy a physical copy of a CD.
You didn't. Right.
You know,
You've never had to do that. Back in the day, you had to go to the record store,
and that's how you met your artist. Because then they would be in
They would do that to do the sign-ins and all that.
So Soundwaves was big.
I forgot about that. I can't believe I just said Soundwaves.
People don't know. Like Marvin Zendler, Eyewitness News. His son Dan Zendler was an executive at Soundwaves. You know, people don't understand this part either. And I can't believe so many people come on your show and they don't say this. When DJ Premier, I have a different connection to Premier.
Right.
Because when I first moved here from L.A., I went to Rhodes Elementary, then I went to Woodson, but my dad got a house the next year in Hockley, which was Waller, which is right next door to Prairie View.
Prairie View, I see
Chris
Waller
Martin, DJ Premier, his
Right.
mom's name was Pat Martin. She was the librarian at Waller Junior High School.
Wow.
So I knew Premier back then. We knew him as Chris. Box fade, Hawaiian
Simple
shirts,
Jack coming up.
penny loafers,
Before
jeans.
this genius that he is.
And guess who taught him how to spin?
Who?
You're not gonna believe this, man. RP Cola.
Not RP from
The strip from
the
the
strip
club.
From the strip club.
Well,
RP
you know him from the
Cola,
strip club.
legend, right?
RP.
But he was the one teaching him
RP's
all
the one
that.
who showed him how to blend and mix.
Yo, those are gems right there, just off top. And there's going to be a point where I get Premiere on this podcast.
Yep.
I just know that's the trajectory I'm on. So this would be good to
It's
run
cool,
it
man.
back.
Like his
right.
mom, Miss Martin, was so sweet, but he was cold back then. Even that Waller when he was spinning.
Right.
Like I knew he knew how to DJ a bit, but some of his moves that he got, RP was pivotal in that. That's how come Oak Cliff, who has been here forever. Oak Cliff did something in Carrington. See, these are the stories that I love. Ja Rule came into Carrington's and didn't realize Oak Cliff was spinning with tapes. He had a pitch control on his tape.
Wow.
And he was making sound. Now, mind you, Oak Cliff can spin.
Oh, he can do the vinyl all
But
day.
you got to think, Carrington's has stayed this long with very little or no radio presence.
Right. Consistent.
But Oak Cliff is. But look,
It's the resident DJ
30
over
years
there,
later,
still there. Consistency.
still break him and KG. And then look, KG, Kirby Gray, the 7-letter Kirby. He used to work with my dad at MW Catalog.
So this is how I had to notice Lump. Lump is the guy who walks in the building. He's doing his job, but he's shaking like, I think you're like, what's the 7 degrees? I can't remember. Yeah, separation.
6 degrees of separation.
He knows somebody that knows somebody. I think there's only one point of reference for you to know somebody, and that's how connected you are. Like you just went into 5 tangents of like multiple people and storylines.
It's funny.
And this is why you're pivotal. This is what I'm saying. We got to give you this platform.
Man, it's an honor, man. And you know, a lot of people put me out to sleep because they put me to sleep and they put me out in the pasture because rap is the only genre to where we put our seasoned folks.
Right.
We put them in. We put them in the back. We put them in the old folks home.
Burner. Right.
But country western, they get better.
They're legends. They put it right.
Rock. Come on, man, they get better.
Even the EDM cats,
bro. That's because
legendary. They have them close like they're like I'm there.
I got an EDM story that I'm not gonna even say it because I don't want to give somebody a highlight. But let's just say there was a female artist from Houston that I tried to give a deal to. Beto, Brad Davis from Pimp C's camp. That Beto, not John Beto from Rap-A-Lot, but Beto from Port Arthur. He was literally going with Maverick. Maverick was on Love and Hip Hop in L.A. They went to Full Sail in Florida together. Beto's dope producer, produced Rap Niggas for Nipsey Hussle.
Okay.
He produced 2 on the double for UGK. He produced the Underdogs. He's done stuff for all these different cats.
Right.
So him and his partner, who's on Love and Hip Hop, who's got placements, he was the one. Mav was the one who was married to Whitney Houston's goddaughter.
Okay.
So he's got platinum placements with.
But you're saying he's got connections and all that, right?
He's a writer, producer.
Right.
They were gonna write this girl's album, produce it. They were gonna write it and produce it, mix it and master it, the entire album, the entire project for 50 racks. And we got to the meeting and she knew me, but you know what her first question was? What do you do, Lump? I just walked out.
But did that deal still happen?
Hell no.
No, but don't question what I'm doing. I'm trying to bring a blessing to you.
Man, I have over 177 million sales and plaques at my house.
Wow. Multiple artists.
I'm not from the diamond plaque from 50 Cent.
Right.
To the signed diamond plaque from 50 Cent that we got to do over because it got messed up in that last little storm that we had.
Let the people know. Just talk about the artists you've dealt with. Just run some names, because
I put a post up yesterday.
We need to put things in context.
Okay,
we're talking, but I need the audience to know. Just run them off.
Destiny's Child, performing at Jamaica.
Right from the start.
Wyclef
Jean
came with Jerry Duplessis and DJ Leon. Came to Jamaica. To
y'all
rock Jamaica.
Shouts out to Paul who just had his birthday. Shouts out to Paul Jamaica.
Paul,
he's still out here. We got to go mess with him at some point.
He allowed me to. We brought Wyclef in. He DJ'd that night. The girls were just getting started. Matthew needed some help. He wanted to clear. The girls had a song called "Do You Really Want" on Destiny's Child first album.
Wow.
I was doing the street stuff for Master P. He needed to get Freak Hoes cleared because they used a sample from Freak Hoes. Jermaine Dupri did the beat. Right. But they had to get it cleared. So who did he come to? I was doing the streets for Destiny's Child, Columbia. So I worked with Destiny's Child. Then I was able to go to London with Destiny's Child. My little girl, my oldest daughter, her name is Kayla Beyonce Lumpkin because I found out that her mom was pregnant while I was in London.
Wow.
So when I told Beyonce, she literally like broke down like,
yeah,
wow.
That's a tribute to like you. Like, that's dope. Bro, I didn't even know this.
So at that time, we got that cleared. I helped Matthew with that. I introduced him to P. I didn't help clear the sample now, but I did open the door.
This introduction, right.
And that's what the street team cat did. He actually bridged the gap because there was a reason.
Right, exactly.
So I was able to do that. And then, you know, my first account, truth be told, was through my homeboy. My first account, after me and Big D split up, big heads, we fought like brothers fight.
Yeah, that
happens.
Daryl
Jacobs was my mentor.
Okay.
Big D was the dude who would talk us into $10 million, but by the time he finished talking
you out of it.
but he taught me
A lot.
about relationships. So Tony Draper, who went to Willow
Tony
Ridge,
Draper, right.
Suave House,
Right.
who's the day-to-day management for Cube right now as we
Oh,
speak.
really?
He's kind of offset manager role, but he manages Mount Westmore. So that's Snoop. That's Too
He's
Short.
a plug to all that.
That's
right.
Cube, and that's 40. He manages that group right
They
now.
got Too Short at 5015 Shameless Plug this Sunday.
Yep.
Got to throw that in there.
And look, they also have DJ Quick and
DJ Quick, right.
and Rodney O, who's doing a concert that I'm promoting at the Smart Financial December 3rd. Cameo, Zap, Roger, Club Nouveau.
Oh, wow. I don't have that on the list yet.
I've been really blessed, but you asked me about the artist, so at that time you have to remember it was 50 Cent.
Mm-hmm.
But he was doing How to Rob. So
it was like
I did Columbus.
the mixtape joint.
Yeah.
Rule number 1, don't go against the grain.
Hey,
He's
look,
got one of
man.
the hottest joints I like. It's on that album, man.
And people like to this day, they try to figure out like, man, how come you don't go talk to Fifth like right now? Because that was your boy. Fifth did something for me that I had a market run. Me and Nikki, promo princess. At the time, she ran my office. I had a team. It wasn't just me. Like I can't take all the credit.
All the credit, right.
I started
And
by
that's
myself.
props. That's
I have
props.
to, bro, because
Right.
people. The one thing that
Nikki was the one that will pay me.
Yeah, she gonna call you. You coming?
I can't be coming to get you ready. That's right. That's right.
So my thing is just like it was my dream, but I helped make it everybody else's vision. So to make it easier, when Tony gave me Suave, then I got Columbia. Then I got MCA. Then I got Loud. When Tony gave me Relativity, Relativity was first.
Okay.
So that was like Tony was independent. Tony was the first one doing 2-page ads in the Source. Then Master P did it. Tony Draper, right now to this day, and I speak on Draper because you rarely see him.
Right. He's in the background.
But I honor
The
him.
name, you know the name.
Helping Ice Cube with Big 3.
Oh, the Big 3 tournament?
Helped talking Cube into getting O'Shea Jr., Jackson Jr.
His son, right.
to play him in the movie. Tony Draper's still behind the scenes, super quiet.
Right. But that's his stamp. That was him doing that.
He helped me, man. He helped me when everybody else stood. Even when I got broke. I never will forget, I got broke. And I first started out, I had my El Camino in the paint shop. And it was holding it hostage. Big baby, how much you owe?
Let me help you out.
Don't even worry about it. At the Masterpiece show, when he did it at the Summit, there's now what's the boy's name? Joel Osteen's church.
Oh wow, yeah. When it was the Summit, when the Rockets used to play, got you.
Came back there and just peeled me off.
Broke your money so you can get your whip out.
Tony had a bankroll before we knew what a bankroll was. Still does.
And still does, and he's just quiet in the background.
Super quiet, but he's going to come out with a podcast.
Oh, okay.
I just talked to him the other day.
So we about to hear these stories that we never even knew.
So now, like,
you need to start your podcast.
Maybe.
There's no way we can even contain. Just looking at the storylines right now, we could be here.
Man, look. And it's crazy. So I had every major label except for Def Jam because Ace had it.
Okay.
And
Ace,
Joe Quinn. Ace. He did Def Jam Streets.
Okay.
But
Got you.
then because when we first started, I only did Independence because they had all of the major labels. Cypher
labels
did,
already.
P2, Sincere. They all had those. But when I came in, they were like, well, who broke Mystical? My partner, Chuck. Remember UNLV song, I'm a drag him in the river, dump his body in Chuck Yard. Chuck was my partner who I used to gangbang with in L.A. He owned Big Boy Records. So Chuck gave me a chance on helping Mystical, Ghetto Twins, Partners in Crime, Pump the Party.
Right.
Those are my records. Ricky B, y'all want to holler. The cats in New Orleans heard me promoting Big Boy stuff, so the bounce acts started asking me to work their records in Houston.
Wow.
So
this is Mystical before he does the No Limit.
This is before No Limit. This is before. If you ever look on the No Limit stuff from when Mystical went to because he was on Jive, and then him and Chuck fell out, and then Chuck went to jail. P got him, but a lot of people don't know this, and I dropped this here. It was really just a management contract because if you look on the record, you'll still see the fat little logo with Big Boy Records and Jive and No Limit.
And No Limit. So that's just we just managing you, but they still got.
But P had the tank moving.
Right already. Right.
So he went on with it. But Chuck still gets paid
Gets
precise.
his,
The one who did all of the beats for Mystical, he stays right here in Houston because he's married to one of the Ghetto Twins. They stay here.
This is storylines.
Yeah, so
that's
you know,
crazy. Y'all need to know these artists, but this is just crazy how all this is interconnected. I knew we're about to go down some avenues, but
even
I
with
didn't know.
Fifth. Fifth was like, I helped Fifth with his first project.
Was that the biggest artist you think you've worked with?
No, man, Beyonce sold more records than Fifth.
Yeah, well, duh.
Yeah,
Besides that,
but Fifth, I worked with Jay. I worked Universal. I worked for Rock. I got a 15 million record plaque sold from Rockefeller.
Wow.
So I worked Rockefeller when Bobby Dash, Dame Dash's brother, who he was fighting with, he was over the street team. That's my partner.
Got you. That's
so
where
Bobby
you came
ran Rockefeller. So I was getting money twice. So you have to figure Rockefeller was on Universal. So not only did I work the Universal Street team with Tracy Lee,
right? You got that money. You
Jam.
did and then you got that too. Once you know that part of the game, you know how to get your money.
Here's the crazy part. Before, like now, most of these cats they get paid on a retainer. Retainer ain't that. It's $1,000, $2,000 a month. You work 10 records. When I got into the business, Jazzy Faye's dad, Mr. James Alexander, who was the bass player for the Barcades, he's the only one who did get in the plane when they went down and all the Barcades died. He's the only original member.
Wow.
That's Jazzy Faye's dad, but he worked for Selecto Hits, which was the independent. It was an independent wholesale place up in the Memphis area, Tennessee area. They handled that part where Southwest was here. They handled pretty much the Southwest. Selecto Hits did Southeast. I used to get paid per record. So every single, it was $1,600 to $2,600. Mr. Alexander said, "Hey baby, you think you could put these posters up for me and take a few pictures?"
I'm like, sure, why not?
And then he sent me the check. I did it on the love because it was James Alexander from the Barcades, and I knew that.
Yeah,
This is
right.
before I knew Jazzy Faye was his
Before
son.
it was his son, right?
But when I got a check for $2,600 for working a group that they said were devil worshippers, I was like, I don't give a damn about that. But it wound up being 3-6 Mafia.
Oh, wow.
I worked them independently. So then when they got the deal with Loud, this is before Loud, before they got their major deal, when they were just 3-6 Mafia.
Right.
With Selecto, his independent label.
Paid you for that.
Then he saw me do that one. He started sending me checks. I used to get so much money on my year. I was a street dude. Like, people get it twisted because they figure the college degree from U of H.
He speaks all proper and stuff.
And they get this California accent and these glasses mixed up. But when Faye says, got him up with Floyd, and Floyd in front of me, some dope. For Money and the Power?
Yeah, and that's all.
Floyd Clark raised me, man, from when I was 18 years old. He and I did the car show together at the box. He owned a small car stereo shop that they talk about today. It's called Surround by Sound.
Surround by Sound. Wait. Which car show?
The very first car show that the box did, I showed a cat named Clint who worked at the box because I did car shows at U of H, our alma mater.
Wow.
I did the first one at U of H.
So you showed them the
I
blueprint
gave them
on
the
how
blueprint.
to do it.
Look here, man. I called
the Los Magnificos car show.
I knew Noel and I knew the brothers from Los Magnificos, and they knew Floyd because Floyd was doing all that stuff for Fat Pat. I'm sorry, for Corey Blunt, for Pat
Corey
Lemon,
Blunt,
for
remember
Stig,
him? Right.
For Quincy. Quincy Q Dog is Quanell X's brother. So Quincy and Floyd, he's their big cousin. So I knew Toast, may he rest in peace, Quincy and Quan. So it was Quentin, Quincy, and Quanell, brothers.
Wow.
So Quanell X, and Quanell X got as big as he got is because when Toast got killed on Coffee Street years ago, 7/17/92, I'll never forget it because it was 4 days before my birthday.
Wow. 7/7/92.
The police, the news people came, and Quan took a towel he wrapped around his neck because he had cleaned up the apartment where Toast got killed, had it around his neck, and he told Channel 13, y'all get out of here. Like, that was the birth of Quanell on the national scene.
Gotcha.
And that's when he began to being the spiritual
activist
advisor for Rap A Lot and then the activist.
Wow.
So
that's
my tie to
profound.
the street was different. I saw Corey Blunt the other day. I just my first time seeing him since he'd been home. I got all of the pictures of the cars that came out of Surround by Sound. I was like, Corey, I got to get you them pictures. So Blunt, I'm gonna get you them pictures, bro. But I was blessed.
You're into, there's so many tangents I want to go. You got into photography too, but I want to talk about how we connected.
Oh, bro,
You know
that's
what I
the
mean?
best story in the world. Look, this story right here is the best story in the world. Fantasia had just won American Idol.
Right.
Fresh off of that, I'm talking like maybe 3 weeks later, Lisa and Steve,
Right.
she was coming to the milkshake.
Right. She was
She was
coming
coming
down.
to the M bar.
Right.
And I didn't know who this dude was. You had on some gloves with the fingers cut
With
out.
the fingers cut
Hat backwards.
Them joints.
And I didn't know who you were, but you had a super deep voice. You were like, son, I need to get some pictures.
Right.
And people don't know with American Idol, they signed these management deals with Simon's company, and he has these minions out managing them.
Okay.
It's really crazy. I don't even want to talk about them's politics, but she was just like, no, she can't take pictures and
Right.
And Akim was like, yo, I need to get it. And I was like, hey, man.
It's not like today when you can just get your camera and go clack, 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 clack. The technology of them cameras is different. You had to be still. You had to really go.
Yeah, man. But my thing was, she didn't understand what you already knew.
Right.
I didn't know how big inDmix was, but I'm going to tell you why I did what I did that night. Your energy was so cool. You were like, all right, cool. And when you did
to me, it was like, it was inevitable. I'm going to get it. That's how I think. That's how I think. It's just you're not ready right now.
No, she was ready, but it was that lady.
The management said no.
And she was being real tight. I was like, ma'am, I really have to go to college route. Ma'am, you're in this black club with these black people, and she had that Baby Mama song. So I was just like, look at these people. And remember, she used to talk to the dude who was a receiver for the for Tampa Bay.
Oh, I said
that's that big bright dude who was standing right next to her that whole time.
That's what she was there.
So I said, hey, if you don't let her take these pictures and you don't let her get on inDmix, I'm literally telling her about the site.
Right.
And I'm just like, if you don't let her do that, and you got all these all these black women in here,
it's almost like a
Fantasia
threat. Yeah.
took her when I told her,
but she was going to perform at some point. So I'm like, I'm getting it.
Man, look, this was a deal. She didn't even want to perform because the lady has zapped all her energy.
Got you.
Oh, she has to be camera ready, and I was like, man, these people don't care about that. She's got a record that's resonating with black females,
and you are here right now, and
You're
they're looking at you. Right.
Bro,
right.
Fantasia said, "Lump, thank you, baby." She gave me a hug. The song came on, B-A-B-Y. She took off her shoes and got on that damn couch. Remember, she was standing up.
Standing on the couch.
And then she was taking pictures.
I was like, it's go time. At that point, it's like, you can't tell me nothing. What you going to do, reach out and block stuff?
After it was over, you was like, yo, champ, thank you, son. And I was just like.
I saw you actually vouching, trying, going for it, and then have the conversation. And I've seen that. Don't get me wrong. Listen, with pictures, it's crazy. The reason I think I've lasted so long, I had to learn to understand that people go through stuff. Sometimes they want to, sometimes they don't. And I don't need to know the why. I can look at you. You see me. Body gestures, don't even worry about it. I ain't got to say nothing.
Bruh.
But there's some pictures I got to get.
Yeah.
And don't even, I'm going to get it.
Excuses don't count, results do. It like real talk.
I'm going to get it, no matter what. But that's dope. That was the intro. And then from that point, though, you're like, that's my guy.
I would literally tell people. I never, when I had Common at Gatsby, when her and I were doing Gatsby. And all the after you came, you changed. See, and this is a part that I always tell you, always are so humble about it. You literally changed the culture. Because prior to you being here, there was really no sections. There was really no bottle services, but you would travel.
Right.
Nigerian background, like you go all over. And then when you came back, but see, here's the deal. inDmix is a brand, and then Akim is a brand.
I believe so.
And the reason why you can't be humble, Willie D taught me a great lesson on the podcast. He said sometimes being humble can take food and money out of your mouth.
Out your plate.
Think about what you were able to do. When you decided to put your stamp on a party, and when it was yours, it was always A1.
Right.
So you were able to do things at your events that people like Steve Rogers already knew because Steve was doing stuff with the hair shows.
Yeah, before that. Right.
And everybody.
But their nightlife, their product gave me the platform to be able to do what I do. There were other photographers.
It was the perfect storm.
Right.
Though.
It was a perfect blend. But
it really was.
Till today I give them props because if they don't have that event or that milkshake concept, I don't have the platform to do my magic. You know what I mean?
3 best moments. One was Fantasia. The second one was Rick Ross doing the Super Bowl.
Rick Ross doing. He was sitting on the couch. Nobody.
Every day I'm hustling. And when
this was
they didn't know how he looked.
They didn't know who he looked like.
They didn't know none of that.
They didn't see. They didn't know.
We didn't
nothing.
have all of this. All we had was a source.
That's it.
So we didn't have any mode of actually any visual.
Right.
None of that. So it was me hand to hand. It was every day I'm hustling. But the killer thing was I knew E-Class. But a lot of people don't know this. Rick Ross was signed to Tony Draper at Suave House. So I knew Rick back then.
Oh, wow.
That's what coming. Yo, Lump. I need 5X. Like, that's when me and him were both big. Now I'm in it 2X. Baby. You feel me? Like, yeah, I'm cool.
He's slimming down too.
Yeah, I had to. But Ross was the homie back then. He saw, man, look, he came in the milkshake, looked like and it was during the Super Bowl.
Right. Busy
on the
time.
corner. Like, it was nuts.
Right.
Ross was the homie, man. Like, everybody tried to be his friend now.
But
man,
I remember when you told me who he was, because I knew the record was big, but when I actually found, this the guy?
That's
well,
him.
he was sitting, chilling.
Just chilling. And when the song came on, he got in the DJ booth. And that's when they had changed they put the booth up higher because it was Super Bowl.
So it was a little more elevated. Guys, I forgot all about that.
And then the funniest milkshake in the world to me was probably the most gangster milkshake in the world. 50 Cent was huge. G Unit was big, and I brought Lloyd Banks to the milkshake.
Oh, yeah.
And the club got quiet. I don't know if you remember this.
I don't remember this.
It got quiet, and Chamillionaire walked up to him. You could literally hear them saying, "Hey, what's up, dog?" Because Chamillionaire's record was really hot, and they kind of, they had passed by each other.
Okay,
it literally got quiet in the club.
Because, it
was just
trying
like,
to see.
Because it was just like, is he really coming?
Right.
One thing I've never done, bro, and I thank
anything
God.
that you said was gonna happen,
it happened, bro.
That was the one thing about love.
Never no shit. It wasn't no janky promoters.
It may be late, but they coming.
They coming, bro. So
I was waiting in the studio.
It was a beautiful thing. And then the other thing that I have to give you props for, Akim, is something that Crazy C taught me first, and the rest of the country is doing it now. Crazy C, Simon Cullins, DJ Revolution, Mad Hatter's partner in Paid in Full Entertainment, my classmate, DJ Crazy C, who helped Blaster. Okay. We all went to Willow Ridge together. He's the one who taught me. He said, "Hey man, do a listening party." I said, "What is that?" He said, "Get a sheet in here, get the songs together." Then when I did it here, a girl did one in Miami. And then listening parties got that big.
Oh,
but think about all of the listening.
So this wasn't happening then.
No.
Wow.
You got to think that was 15 years ago.
Crazy C,
Crazy C gave me that. And he gives me the credit.
The concept of doing listening parties.
And then I learned how to have them at the studio.
Right.
You came to a couple. I know.
I was
done
there.
Slim Thug. I brought David Banner. I brought artists to mine.
It was crazy because you looked at artists so big. So you learn to be in a circle. The artist is right there, and he really wants your feedback.
Yeah, he really does. And
this is your way to, like, I'm regular, but I'm important because I'm here in this setting, and this artist wants feedback on what
real
their
feedback,
content
bro.
looks
And
like.
then I had a sheet. You had to fill it out, and then you think, I didn't let people eat or drink until after we listened.
Until it was done.
And then the other one, who else did I bring in there that was really cool? Busta Rhymes.
I remember
that. That was so dope. And then Busta literally beat some Houston real, I ain't gonna even mention their names, but let me tell you something.
They went the blows?
No, they took the pool table. You know, if you're a real hustler, you'll know what I'm about to say. They took the pool table, stuffed the pockets, and they shot CeeLo on the table. Cats from Fifth Ward. I can say one name, Lil C, Carlton Joshua from Rapper. I was in there. Busta got him for 17.5. It was him and some other cats, some real dice came from the gambling shack, came to the studio, shot on the table. Busta won. Not only did he win, he let them try to get their money back, and he kept breaking them, and they just quit. And then we went to Milkshake, and there's a picture of me, GT, Steve Rogers, and Busta. I'm gonna give it to you.
Send it to you.
Matter of fact, you took the picture.
I took the picture. I knew I did.
And look,
I thought you had it. We're gonna drop that in the podcast.
I said, Busta, you got to pay the house, baby. Oh, Uncle Lump, come on, man. I said, bro, you just won 17 racks.
That's that street shit in you,
yeah,
right?
Dog, like, come on, man. But
so you just can't take the win and just
that's
just
like
dip out.
Jadakiss and Trey right now. Like I had a listening party at Dave and Buster's. May it rest in peace.
Right.
I used to do some of them at Dave and Buster's after Ronnie had the issue with the studio. I ain't even gonna get into that. You already know.
I'm
not getting into that.
You've been purposely not even mentioning studio names, and that's how we gonna leave it.
I'm leaving it alone. I don't need no issues. I'm 52 years old. I don't need no issues.
None. I respect it. I get it.
So, but to see the progression is beautiful. I was able to do this. This is one thing that I've learned, and this is one thing that I really want to tell folks. Make sure that you do your job well. Make sure that they pay you for it, but make sure you do it well first.
Right.
And
then you can ask for
it. And then charge them. And then put taxes on it. You hear me? Like, don't be greedy. Be fair.
Be fair.
Because,
but account for the work that you've put in.
And if you don't, bro, you'll be in a situation like when they said that I transitioned out of the business once I started ministering. Once I announced my call to Christ and once I accept my call to ministry
right,
and went to seminary, everybody they scramble. Oh man, Lump ain't in the game no more. Lump preaching now. Lump da 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 da.
Nah, you're pretty versatile. You do that, but
Oh, yeah,
you're still who you are,
Yeah,
and I like
that's
that.
who I am.
I like that duality. Like I can be this, but I can be that. Too,
And I don't
you know
even
what I
go
mean?
nowhere no more, bro. It's like I see things now, and it's like, and it's no knock because it's just the culture.
It's just different.
It's just different, bro. David
listen,
Banner taught me that, bro.
Listen. The reason you're on here is I know there's a clear difference, and this is how I want to close the podcast. Is I know you're telling the stories, but I'm trying to show the connect of the
how it was to how it is
where
now.
it is now. I don't think people really get it.
They don't realize that we had a
was.
dance floor.
You had to have a dance
Now
floor.
you don't have a dance floor because now you have sections.
It's all sections.
And then
you walk in the club and ask you got a section? Like, that's not what nightlife is to me when I first came up.
Houston was a $10 city. If you charge somebody over $10 to get in the club, you wasn't getting it.
Nothing's happening.
Now you're going to spend $100 before you get to the door.
Off top.
And guess what? That's just what it is.
It's just, and that's my point. And I don't want to say one's better than the other.
It's just the era.
It's just a new time.
Every era, you shift gears. It's a clutch.
Absolutely.
And you're
if
shifting
you
gears.
don't adapt, you're in the dust.
You're in the dust, bro.
Right.
I don't like now, like people, but the thing that people don't know about me is that I still get records played. Like, when they hit a brick wall.
Right. You can still do that. Artist, you need your records. You got to pay the man, though. But he can touch. Y'all heard all the names he just dropped. I'm going to be honest. I knew maybe just a handful of them. But I know y'all artists in the industry. This is why I had to bring Lump. There's a connection. Y'all, I'm primarily nightlife. Yeah. But the association and connection and symbiotic relationship that nightlife and music have is undeniable. So part of this conversation is showing how that was connected, how he's still connected, and how, if you're trying to get your music played, he's still that guy. You mentioned how many record labels, still relevant till today.
And that's how I got this. Yeah, this is a real Cash Money piece. At 26 years old, I introduced
Cash Money. You know what I mean?
I introduced Baby and Slim to Wendy Day. Wendy Day really did help construct their deal, but at 26, I didn't write myself into the deal.
Right, and if you know what you know now,
but here's the deal: at 27 years old, if I would have got 10% of a $2.6 million of a $26 million deal, I might not be here, bro.
You would know how to act.
Me and Baby is still cool, but we fight. Like, Baby is my dude. But him and Slim play good cop, bad cop. But them are my dudes, bro. But you got to remember how we started. Baby didn't even like me because Chuck from Big Boy, again, drag him in the river, dump his body in Chuck Yard. Big Boy and Cash Money were because UNLV and Partners in Crime, pump the party, the bounce. They used to be at each other.
Gotcha.
So when Chuck went to jail and Slim was like, say, bro, he'd tell Baby, hey, bro, I don't care what you doing. This dude get records played. And that's when my affinity, like the picture that I took of Screw, the most famous picture of Screw, with his hair backwards.
Right.
If you look at the original picture, you'll see my El Camino in the background. If you look at the picture, if you really want to see it.
That iconic one.
The ring, I want you to look at the picture again. The diamonds aren't in the ring because every time Screw would get high and pass out, he knocked the diamonds out of the ring. So when he has that picture up, when he has his fist up showing that ring, I sent him to New York with Justo for Justo's Mixtape Awards to get the ring on the air with Funk Flex. Think I'm lying, ask Flex. Screw fell asleep on the air. Like, Screw was gone.
Oh, my goodness.
That's my dog. But this is the one thing that I will say about that, is that I never asked a dime for that picture. Many people have made money off of it. Yeah, I got shirts, but I'm okay. But people didn't know how Screw looked.
So it's more important to have that visual of him.
And people who I gave the picture to, they made duplicates of it and then sold it. Oh. But that's cool, people are, but
Me and Fred had a conversation about this, and it's like, it's called what? Something property.
Intellectual property?
It's intellectual property, and I get the dynamics of all of that. I just don't want to be cookie cutter business deal, and I just had to. The only thing about that is, if you lose money and you make that decision, you got to be willing to just know that
you got to accept everything that comes with it.
You got to accept what comes with it.
But the one thing that I say that you should do, and I'm about to do it because I have my camera with me every step of the way.
Right.
Because I had to take pictures for the labels. I had to document everything.
Right.
Like the picture that I sent Bun B the other day. He's already had it, but it's a picture of Jay-Z and Bun at Roxy. Wow. After they did the show in the Woodlands at Cynthia Mitchell Wood, it's a picture of Bun and Jay, Bun with the Colt 45 stuff on, Jay-Z in the background, hat backwards, like doing this thing, Memphis Bleak, Freeway.
I remember
at
that.
Roxy. I was upstairs, Brian had me up there. I took that picture with a Minolta film camera. The same camera that I took the picture of Screw with. A Minolta film camera. So all you digital dudes, I ain't got no problem with y'all.
Right.
But you had to get the Trinity right. You had to know exposure. You had to know shutter speed.
What you got to say to that, Elliot?
Bruh.
You hear real history now. We're all three photographers, so this resonates a little different with us.
Here's what I need you to do, though, man. I just want you and Fred, and I need y'all to really think about this, and I'm gonna do it. I had this idea for years, but I'm getting so tired of people getting on these podcasts and telling fish tales. I'm going to do a pictorial history from my eyes.
Gotcha.
So all of my Destiny's Child, like I put the picture up the other day of me and Beyonce in London. I put the picture up of me and 50.
You didn't just say it. You got the photos to back all that stuff right.
That's like when I tell people I sold 177 million records.
You have proof of
how
it adds up to that.
What?
Right.
And then this plaques that I don't have that now I'm getting ready to get done because my oldest daughter is 24. And my youngest daughter is 10, but my middle baby's 13. But case in point, my daughter was at the Toyota Center and Face pulled up.
Right.
And she was like, my dad. And he was like, who's your dad? My dad is Lump. So he FaceTimed me.
But look,
right? It was my daughter on Face's phone. So I'm like, what the hell?
What is that? It caught you off guard. Like, I'm not expecting this right now.
But it was beautiful because this is what happened. Now daddy's cool because look,
right.
All of her friends that work with her at the Toyota Center, because that's her part-time job, because she's graduated from Prairie View. My baby is an architect, so don't get it twisted.
Don't get it. Nah. She doing
extra
stuff.
Job.
Right.
But and Face looked at me. He said, "Boy, I got your baby in here." He said, "Boy, look, I'm proud of you." And for him to say that in front of her friends
and her, right. And it's one of those. I'm a dad now, so it's different. I totally understand what you mean. You can have these conversations, and your children can eavesdrop, get a perspective of it. It's one thing to say it, but she had to see him. She had to see him, be like, "Hey, my dad talks about you all the time," and that reaction matters. He could have been like, "Oh yeah, okay, cool." Like, nah, they didn't really know each other. He stopped and FaceTime.
So when I show her, I took the picture for Deeply Rooted, his last album. He tricked me. I went and shot the picture. I stood on Holloway and Cullen in the parking lot of Watkins. I looked down the street because Floyd stayed right there on Hunkler, that same Floyd who had Scarface first before Troy. My partner had it first. Yeah, so I took that picture, ping, and he said, "Hey man, I need you to take some pictures for the inside of the cover." And a month later, bam. It's the cover.
It's the cover, not the inside.
Then I flip it over. I put it on Facebook. I put it on Instagram the other day. It said Orian. They spelled my name wrong. They put Orion, but it's Orian. Lumpkin on there.
That boy, hey, Lump is ready. He wants all his stuff right. It's just how it is.
My cigar lighter has @Lump on it.
He gotta have it.
You see me like Lump. Look, I come in here. I still got these stickers.
On the level.
I still got on the level. Man, look here. I'm going to be on the level even when y'all off the level.
Come on.
But man, thank you.
That's props. That's props. No, I'm just telling. I just appreciate you and the content.
And I really want to thank Lisa. I want to thank Steve. I want to thank Captain Jack. I want to thank Oak Cliff. I want to thank my partner Big D, who they give me the title of having all those street accounts. But I had to learn from somebody. Right. And what a lot of these cats don't understand today is this.
I'm glad you're saying that because I had to note, like, who do you want to give props to? Who do you want to give?
And I got to give a props to my homeboy. And I say my homeboy, but I want to say Mr. Prince. People call him Jay. Right. I call him Mr. Prince because Jay gave me the ability to get my first plaque with Big D.
Okay.
I was putting up posters of the Ghetto Twins right after Mystical. And they were working the Fifth Ward Boys record, and they were snatching my posters down. My little brother stayed in Fifth Ward, so he was putting them up. So when they snatched his down, he snatched theirs down. I was like, "Look, dog, they got a bunch of guns. We got two." I was like, "We ain't gonna win, dog. We ain't gonna win, dog." So look, man. So then they tell me Jay want to meet me at the compound. I done heard stories about the compound. I was like,
I got one call to the compound. Jay wants to meet you. You gotta pull up.
Look, when I got there, it messed me up. Hey, Lump, how does this man know my name?
He knows.
Look at what he said. Big D goes back because Big D was at 1590 Raps. So he knew Jay.
Right.
And D was like, come on, let's go.
I think if you've ever had a meeting with Mr. Prince, that's when you know you're doing something.
Bro, walking up those marble stairs at the
Listen,
compound.
I walked in the cars and all
Oh,
that.
yeah, so
This
you
was
see
like
the cars
way back
first.
in the day.
Yeah.
You see the cars
and then
first.
you got to walk up the stairs, and the stairs are marble. And this is all I'm thinking. Man, what if somebody
What-
throw me down these stairs?
There's an eerie uncertainty feeling associated with it, but you know,
But
you
here's
got to
the-
know
here-
you have
here-
a clear. He wants you to do better.
Here's the thing. When I went upstairs, hey, man,
It was cool. It was
what's
calm,
the problem, man? Now, mind you, my heart is...
Dump it.
Mind you, I'm from Fort Deuce. I'm from L.A. I'm this big gang. But then here's the killer thing. Tony Randall, Big Chief, is cool, is cousins with my partner from my side, Omar Randall from Fort Deuce in L.A. So that's the connection.
that's
But we go
connection, right.
upstairs, and he says,
So it's to address this whole thing
he
that's
said, so
going
what's
on.
going on, man? I said, well, Jay, they just snatching down posters, man. It's all illegal because, you know, we used to get chased by the police for putting up them posters.
Right.
So I said, it's all illegal, but my brother put them up. I pay him. He take the picture, but when I come through Fifth Ward, they ain't there.
Right.
He was like, oh, man, you know Fifth Ward is on. He said, so wait. Is 3 of y'all doing this? I said, yeah, it's me, my little brother, and Big D.
Right.
And Big D was like, yeah, Jay, it's us.
Right.
He said, so 3 of y'all terrorizing all the Fifth Ward. He said, so I think my people are a little mad. He said, that's all right. That's all right. He said, man, he switched gears on me. He got that out the way. He said, man, have y'all ever heard this? And Jay, the sound system in there was immaculate.
Right.
Jay hit the button. Do you want to ride in the backseat
Backseat
of my Cadillac and chop it up with do or die? Me and D had just left Chicago, been up there for a month promoting another big boy, promoting Mystical Black Menace in Chicago. So when I said, man, that's Black Menace. I said, man, that's do or die.
Do or die, right.
And then who comes from behind? I don't know what door he came behind. AK from Do or Die.
Wow, he was there.
He was there back in the back after this conversation. And look, he saw me and Big D. What's up, big boy? He came and gave me a hug. So Jay was like, man, y'all
so
know
you
that?
know, right.
I knew him from being in Chicago. Here's the deal. David Anderson, uncle, David Anderson's uncle, Mr. George Daniels, is from Fifth Ward.
Oh,
That's
wow.
why the Rap-A-Lot to Chicago connection is so strong.
Got
So
you.
then this is what happens.
That's crazy connect. That just hit Elliot different because he knows that part. But
So my thing is, I was just like, Mr. Daniels open arm. I love Mr. Daniels. Him and Regina Daniels used to be the publicist for R. Kelly. Like, I know Mr. Daniels. Like, Mr. Daniels
I always
opened
saw
up.
him, but I still don't know his storyline.
Oh,
so
my
you're
God.
giving me some insight now that I didn't
George
even know.
Daniels had a record store in the airport in Chicago, bro. He had a black coalition to actually through all of the independents from all over the country, the Royce Fortunes in L.A. and all of the VIPs in Long Beach. They all were pooled together and made the major labels recognize them because they were selling so many records. Because many of them didn't have sound scan. George, he pulled out that damn that street block thing in front of his store. All the artists pull up. But my point is, Jay said, "Hey, look, man, what y'all think about them?" I was like, and then me and my retarded cocky self, y'all got twisted too. Yeah, we working on it. But we wind up doing 16 markets for Rap-A-Lot, and I got my first plaque.
From doing that
From Rap-A-Lot.
But wait, this is crazy. The spat ends you up in the meeting, but the meeting becomes an opportunity.
It becomes a business opportunity. And now me and Spook, me and Rare Boy, me and
Red Boy, right,
Chief.
right.
Man, right now, man, if I see Chief, bro, it's
love.
every
right
time
back.
I see Jay. When Jay did his book signing at Johnny Dang's.
Johnny Dang's store. That's why I got you.
Walt, because Big Country Walt used to be his like his bodyguard, his number one.
Right.
Y'all come on up here, man. Anytime Jay see me, he always stay the same. People talk all that trash. One thing I know about Jay, he's a gentleman.
1,000%. I knew about respect from seeing him. Again, my job is to be observant when I'm in nightlife. People don't know this.
People may change.
I'm good at what I do because I observe.
And I got a picture of you in the pit.
Come on, man.
People may change.
I learned so much from just how he moves.
He moves
I'm
different.
just like, oh man.
That's my whole.
That's a whole nother level. You can say it all day, but if you ain't got it.
I can't. My thing with pictures is that people may change, but the pictures never do.
Right. True that.
You know,
True that.
But the thing with Rap-A-Lot has always been, even when Trey went over there, I helped Trey. You know, I helped Zero, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. Cause Screw asked me to take. Yeah, Screw asked me to take care of both of them, and I did. You know, Zero showed up to my party last year, bro. Before I actually started working back at the company that I work with now. He came to my party at the Cigar Lounge, bro. Walked in there, partied.
The one you invited me to.
Yeah, he came to Bayou City, jammed B-Love. He's like, say, boy, I ain't been this crunk. He said, man, he got me in here. And look, but when he left me, oh, man, let me give you a birthday gift. I wasn't expecting. I just wanted my partner to come hang.
Right. You just want to come hang
he
out,
smoked
right?
cigars. That man put something in my hand. I got to the bank. Boy, I dropped a tear.
Wow. Love like that.
Trey, 10 years ago, man, look, give me your, this is before PayPal and before Cash App.
Right.
All them years of me helping them, putting them up in these stores, getting them placement in stores.
Right, and all that.
That nobody else could. You can't even pay for that.
Right.
I was so good at displays that the majors would get mad at me. That's how I got so many jobs. So, because you got to figure once.
Your results were
I worked for
unquestionable.
Then
right.
they gave me the job at Electric. Sylvia Rohn hired me. She's the only black female CEO of a record company. So that was Busta, Missy, and Metallica.
Oh, yeah, Electra at that point. Right.
I had all of that.
Right.
Fab. I was there when Lil Mo shot the Superman video. She shot it in L.A. on Crenshaw at the bowling alley when they was tearing it down. That's home for me.
Right.
But my point is, I was able to do all that because when couldn't nobody else get to Screw, he was my partner. And I met Screw because I screwed Bam's album, and I hadn't talked to Screw. I didn't even know Screw. So when I went to go meet Screw, I said, man, I apologize. He said, for what, dog?
You said, I already did your
stuff. I did it.
Yo.
And he just looked at me. He said, man, you the first one.
Same,
no, but look at what he said.
But you're the first to acknowledge that.
He said, man, I respect that, man. He said, you a cool dude. And sometime when we started talking about birthdays, his birthday is July the 20th. My birthday is July the 21st. But I just tripped now that everybody screwed up and screwed out. But I used to have to call the radio station and remind him when he was born and when he died.
Right.
So I'm a little bit different about that. But my point is, I was able to maneuver because Houston, even though I'm an LA cat, my partners from my set in LA, even the preachers who I deal with now, they know me from the foundation that I got here.
Right.
And I'm thankful that I can say I got my first my first plaque because I rap a lot.
Right.
All of them mean something, but the first one is
special. First one is dear. Absolutely.
So that being said, to see the way that the culture has shifted, you give me props, but I give you props because you were able to travel. Like, dog, when you went somewhere out of country one time and took some damn pictures, and I came back and I looked at inDmix, I was like,
what? Well, I had to learn that, man, and it was a challenge. I stopped doing that, but it was fun for me. I had to show that.
Hey,
the biggest thing about pictures was I was taking pictures when people did not want to be seen. It was ridiculous to think that I'm going to take a picture for a stranger and you putting my stuff out on the internet. They get that camera out of here. Now
you are the reason
it's cool.
You know why? You are the reason that they have camera phones, bro. I blame you.
No.
Because look,
camera
bro,
phones are inevitable.
Okay, but here's the deal,
though. Going out of town to take pictures, just because you brought it up, was I wanted to see if it will translate even without the language barrier, and that's what it did.
It did.
I mean,
pictures are just like
Czech
music.
Republic, Prague. I mean, I went Finland. Once you whip the camera out, people know. Hey,
Matthew
I did
taught
that
me that.
so many
Matthew
times.
Knowles taught me that. We were in London with the girls, and Usher was on tour. This is before No hit. Like I was saying, the story was that Wyclef performed at Jamaica. He jumped in my El Camino. We drove the digital service on Chimney Rock and Gulf.
Y'all riding together.
In my El Camino. He tried to buy it. And Casey and JoJo tried to buy it. And Mac 10. I ran out of gas down the street going to Sharpstown with Mac 10. Mac 10 is on the other side of the color rainbow for me. But when he got here, he respected me. When he left, he gave me 2 racks. We friends to this day. He likes my pictures on Facebook. On
Instagram and all that.
Mac Diamond's the homie. He's quietly doing shows.
Wow.
These are friends. Ben the DJ
we
Quicks
need
is
to bring Mac 10 back. That's classic shit.
Mac Diamond.
We need to do a show right now.
What?
Steve?
Bro.
We need Mac 10.
Oh, yeah, Steve. Dime will do it. Dime will do it. And Mac 10 got his dog. You just had a game. You might as well bring another.
No, and he would jam more than that. Man, listen, we gonna need a whole nother episode. God damn it.
It's all good.
I appreciate you.
Look.
Give up and coming artists or visionaries advice just based on what you've gone through, and that's how we just gonna close this out, man.
First thing you do is protect yourself. Literally trademark your name. Some of these artists don't own their own names. Own your domain. before you do anything.
Before you do anything,
and
go
the other
buy
thing
it.
that you need to do is be quiet. Stop telling folks what you're gonna do. Just do it and show up with it. Because, case in point, small story as I keep talking about this, Cisco, when I worked for Kadar, who still owes me $12,000. So homie, you better give me my money. Yeah, I am. I don't care.
That's street shit.
Yeah, it
Get
is. Well, my money is my money.
Right.
Cisco, they didn't do the business for the thong song correctly, and when the paperwork was submitted, it hit at the same time to the publisher. When I worked for Kadar in 20,
who's Kadar?
Kadar Massenberg is the one who coined the term neo soul, and he was the president of Motown Universal before Sylvia Rhone got there, before she left Elektra.
So he might be he owes you money, but he coined the term neo soul. That's
Erykah
major.
Badu,
That's
Kim,
major.
That's him.
Yeah.
But I mean,
that's
Kadar was a dude,
major.
but
right.
for him to cash out the millions that he cashed out,
he got to pay out.
You got to give me my bread, dog. Real talk. Well, Cisco didn't do the paperwork right. They didn't handle the business. So artists, when you're in the studio and you dealing with something that could potentially be a hit, bring the split sheet to the studio, bro. Get the splits done then
in the studio.
Because if you don't, when the record gets hot,
then they
give me another. No, don't you release it. I'm suing. You released it. No video. Y'all got to give me another $25,000 when it could have been free. People don't even know what publishing is. Everybody's talking about their own, their masters and all this, but what are you gonna do with them? Like, real talk. Understand, there's a administration that has to do with the publishing, whether it be ASCAP after BMI. You know, make sure you handle that business. If you're gonna be in business for yourself, which you are,
right? Somebody
do the
has
business.
to. Yeah, somebody has
get
to.
Get an LLC. Get a record company. Nori tells you on Drink Champs, he signed himself to his label. That way, Def Jam gave him more money. He's just not thinking like an artist. He's thinking like a businessman.
Gotcha.
So get your LLC together. Go pay an attorney. Stop telling me you done bought a $30,000 chain, and then when it's time to come up with a marketing budget, I ain't got no money for that. No.
So I'm glad you're talking about this. I'm sorry to interject
No,
because this is an idea I want to have around my birthday. I'm an artist. I want to start. Where do I go? I don't know what publishing means. I don't know what LLC means. I don't know where to cut the records. I don't know what it is to clear samples. I hear these terms used loosely all the time. Even I think I have an idea, but I need somebody in the industry to talk. And this all my symposium is. My mixer and this get-together is, do you want to do music? These are I'm going to invite 4 people or 5 people to a panel, listen to what they have to say.
You want to charge to get in?
It's free. I got to do free. No, got to charge. All right, you say so,
deal.
that's what it's going to do.
If there's a dollar amount tied, if there's no value to you, then there's no value
to me. Understood. Gotcha.
I can get Tammy Latrell, who was Sam Harris's daughter. Tammy, Whitney Houston record that she did when she was 18, she's still getting paid from it. She's a grown woman now with the company.
Right.
You need to talk to her. Leslie Cross, attorney.
He already selected a panel. I just have an idea. He already selected the panel.
You got to talk to the accountant. You need an accountant.
You need an accountant that's in the industry to talk that side.
You need to understand what you can write off, what you can't. See, all this fake PPP loan, all y'all did all that work to go make these ghost companies up and try to get some money from the government. Now y'all ain't got no money to pay them back.
Right.
Man, if you set it up properly, you'll be ready for that. And then now when you buy the jewelry, it's an entertainment expense.
It's not just when you can write that off.
Why do you think 50 moved to Houston? Moved to Texas?
Yeah.
People don't understand this. See, now what I'm doing with my...
I know the business.
So you know the agriculture side. Yeah, so guess what? Kanye, $18 million in debt, went to Wyoming, bought a lot of property. He got some work animals.
Right.
No, he got some work animals. So guess what? He spent $18 million on the property. You put 2 cows on it.
You write that off.
You get an $18 million tax credit.
Oh, my God. Know the business.
So my point is, the reason why I'm saying, hey, you do this, if we have some money on the table, I can get the right people to come in.
Right.
And you just give them their per diem to come. Bro, and guess what?
It's valuable information.
Okay,
people will pay for that.
Case in point. These cameras in here, bro. That damn lens right there is $2,100.
Right.
That body is a couple of grand.
Right.
So you want to be a photographer? You're not going to the club with no damn Polaroid.
Bro, no, you're not.
This is what you have to pay.
I'm always trying to be the look out for the people.
You know what's going to happen?
You're saying if you have that useful information, people will pay for it.
Think about it. If you didn't have NASA, do you think you would have been able to get the cameras you got when you first started?
No, not at all. It was an investment in the self, right?
Man, look here. If you don't if you're not a priority to yourself, you won't be a priority to anybody else.
He said it. That's what you started with, and that's how we gonna close it out. He said that at the beginning. Lump, I appreciate the jewels. I appreciate the time. I wish we could go longer.
It's all good, bro. You got to chop this up, bro.
Listen. This one was one for the books. Don't skip the gems. You know what I mean? This man has just showed you all the connections. And you know what else I love too? Steve, Turkey Leg Cut. Lynn,
right. And look, Rob Wright and I was there when Rob played.
Yeah. Rob is big time now.
So, you know, like David Anderson.
Rob is Dave Anderson.
Mr. McDaniel's relative.
Right.
Like, bro, light-skinned dudes take
right.
Team light skin for the win, baby.
It's all good. I appreciate y'all. Catch y'all on the next podcast.
Yes,
we got the in crowd next week. Got to give y'all the new flavor of these new cats doing their thing. You know what I mean? So catch us on the next podcast. Mr. Lump, I appreciate you again.
No doubt.
Everything you've done. Gonna have you back for sure.
Yeah, I'm here, bro.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. And with that, we out. Shouts out to Elliot, the producer.
Yeah.
Shouts out to Afro Vibes.
Afro Vibes.
You know what I mean? And then sponsored, this edition is sponsored by We Are One Music Festival.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. November the 12th through the 13th. Eleanor Tinsley Park. They have Martin Garrix, Tiesto, Gucci Man, Jeezy, Slim Thug. The lineup is dumb, bro.
I bet you they ain't doing it for free.
Definitely not.
So my point to you, at your symposium, charge.
Yeah, that charger. Anyway, that lineup is crazy. We Are One Music Festival, November 12th through 13th. Get your tickets. Log on to inDmix.com to see that lineup, and we'll catch y'all next week. Salute. We out. Yeah.